Hello and welcome to another fine episode of Moving, Not Movies, the Sneaker Madness episodes that we are currently doing while Jackie and I are in moving hell as we, not make our way across the United States from Boise to Illinois, because we are in Illinois. We just are still homeless. So Sam is here. Jackie is taking care of the kiddo tonight, and she probably will do for the next few months because I'm a terrible father. I went out and got a pack of smokes, and it turns out it was a laundry room.
What? So I noticed that the camera's pointed differently. Do you have a washer and dryer now?
Yeah, we have the washer and dryer. So our stuff showed up. We went with, to refresh everybody, we went with a company called U-Pack, and we loaded our shit in a giant trailer, and some truck drivers who made a pit stop off in Washington, D.C. and said, "No more masks." And Joe Biden looked at them and said, "Masks?" And then they drove to St. Louis and dropped our stuff off. We got our stuff. Nothing was broke. Not a single goddamn thing.
Shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. The old man, Jackie's father, and I unloaded it in 2 days and into a storage unit. So yeah, we got a washer and dryer now. I've got an actual... it's not a good microphone, but one of our earlier microphones that we used, that Jackie uses for work, to record on. So I now sound, I think, better.
You sound better, I can already tell.
Okay. All right. So that's good. So things are a little bit more comfortable here. We finally got a couch. We were sitting in camp chairs watching television, and I will tell you that is not something that any human should have to endure. The couch is nice. It is necessary. It's now a necessary thing to live as a human being. If you don't have a couch and you revert into the old times like the hunter-gatherer bullshit, your body will now reject it. That's how far we've evolved as human society, is that we require couches. If you don't have one, your body will hurt.
Yeah, I actually don't even like watching movies in the gaming chair when I'm relegated to the office to do the movie. Sacramento Steve-O, he can fall asleep in his gaming chair, and I just don't see how he does it.
Yeah, I don't see
I don't think they're very comfortable.
No. Right now I'm sitting in one of those cheap metal folding chairs, and it works just fine for recording a silly podcast in the laundry room. Yeah, dude, oh my gosh, the couches were a lifesaver. So that's where we're at on that. I do have an update as far as our life, and this is directly tied into the podcast. We did get an offer on our house back in Boise. We accepted it. It is a contingent offer, contingent upon, because the buyer is getting financed. It's going to be 2 months before we can buy a house, which means this is pretty much the podcast for the next 2 months.
We can shake things up. We can make some excitement now that we know.
Like you're going to take your top off or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how that's going to help.
It won't.
Okay. I'm going to need something better, Sam. I'm going to be honest.
I don't know.
Better than Sam's shirtless body.
We might just have to figure out how to mix in a movie here in the next, couple months.
Yeah,
a couple of real episodes from weeknights on we'll be able to put together. We can put together a couple of real podcasts in the next couple months. Not that these aren't real podcasts. This is an actual podcast. It's just about mostly television shows and Justin's life.
Well, I do have some stuff. I've got actually a couple movies this week.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got a follow-up on last week. I actually have 2 follow-ups. First off, starting with what we're drinking. I don't know if you remember or not last week, but I introduced you to the STAG beer. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so we also talked about our friend and neighbor, Matt. He grew up in the St. Louis area, and he heard that podcast, and he says that STAG equals steak, taters, and gravy.
And you said it tasted like crappy Bud Light?
Natural Light.
Natural, which is crappy Bud Light.
Yeah, kind of. And so he says that he's not sure if that's really what it was meant. He was just always told that that's what it was meant. And the idea was like around oh, hey, we're camping. Well, we don't need to eat dinner because we've got STAG. It's the same as having steak, taters, and gravy. And I did not get that impression. It is not thick beer.
No. Does he like it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think anybody likes it.
Yeah.
He also didn't like my song idea that I gave him the other night, which is basically revolving around the chorus. Hey, chunky bunch, lunch yourself a bunch of crunchy grooves.
Okay.
He's like, that doesn't sound very good.
No, it doesn't sound like a song at all. It sounds like you're trying to pick up like the end of the night, 2 a.m. Well, I'm drunk. Hey, you're drunk. We both are disgusting, but we're all that's left.
No, it's like where you have like the band with too many people and they all do the shouting chorus.
Okay.
Because they don't know how, none of them can write lyrics. They're all pretty decent musicians, but none of them can write lyrics, so they just come up with this shit. And there's always one guy that's just like going, hey, chunky bunch, lunch yourself a bunch of chunky grooves. I already wrote the bass line. It's great. And the guitar has to have all that. Why
isn't it chunky butt?
No, because I started with just like the idea of crunchy grooves and funk. And it went through a very minor amount of evolution where I was like, well, they're the chunky bunch. Okay. And they're going to lunch themselves a bunch of chunky grooves. And it would be the song Chunky Bunch by the band Chunky Bunch off the album Chunky Lunch.
Chunky Lunch. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
we'll mix it up there.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But then they'd have to come up with at least 5 other songs that had something to do with Chunky, and I think they're lyrically already tapped out.
Chunky Brunch. It's like the cheeseburger that has an egg on top. That's a chunky brunch.
Yeah, and it's just the same song, only they all drop out and only the keyboard player goes, brunch.
Yeah, I wrote it about this lady that I knew. She was a chunky brunch. She was shaped like a hamburger with an egg on top.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he finally got why he doesn't ever want me to be in his band.
Okay.
When anybody ever was like, you should be in my band. And I'm like, you really don't want me in your band.
Because if anybody knows anything about banding, Sam mostly knows how to play the bass. And so, like, whenever you're in a band, everybody always needs a bass player. So it's like, dude, Sam, seriously, you sure you don't want to play bass for a little bit?
Yeah. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. Usually what I would do, you get in these bands, and the guitarist and the singer are always taking these fucking outlandish cigarette breaks and pissing about constantly. And so I would just commandeer the drummer who's there to work too, right? And we'd just start playing jazz scales. And then they'd come back in, and then we'd be like, what, you can't play this? And they couldn't. And then I'd get kicked out. And then like 10 minutes later, the drummer would be in the parking lot going, can I come with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm not going to go to another band. I'm just going to go get some fucking pancake, or not pancakes. I hate those, but waffles and chicken, right?
Yeah, that's some chunky brunch. Let's go get chunky brunch.
We should get chunky brunch.
Hey, quit talking about my girlfriend.
Yeah.
All right. Little show update. I don't know if anybody saw this week, but we do have a special bonus episode where Sam and Tucker got on to some stuff. It was supposed to be episode 1 of Moving, Not Movies, but there was some confusion as far as scheduling, I think. But so I released it as a bonus episode this weekend. Why don't you tell everybody what you and Tucker broke down, Sam?
Mostly the surprise that Tucker watches reality TV.
Oh, wow. That is a surprise.
Yes.
Like
compulsively.
Anything in particular? Like does he do because there's a lot of different genres as far as reality TV. Like I could kind of get behind like the home flipping bullshit, even though it's super scripted, but it's like, oh, okay, there's some top tips in there. But then when it comes to like the rich families who live together, yeah, there's nothing there to be gleaned from.
No, and that's what was interesting is it began as sort of a joke that we were going to review Wheel of Time, and then he's like, well, I was talking about the Wheel of Time that Herzog did, and I was like, oh no, I was talking about the Wheel of Time as this series that I hated. And then when I asked him what he was watching, he said Below Deck, and that he'd seen like every one of 50 fucking seasons of this shit, and it just turns out me interviewing Tucker about this fucking show about boats.
Oh, okay. It's a boat show.
Yeah, it's about like chartered yachts, not like big boats.
Okay.
And the crew of these medium-sized boats and the reality of it. And he had favorite captains and the whole thing.
I thought Below Deck was the Star Trek animated thing.
I don't know. Maybe they're both that.
So
maybe I'm saying it wrong. I would just go
Below Deck
back and listen to the episode if you're interested in listening to Tucker talk about like the shit that he likes. You would just be surprised as I am. They're like, really? This is the shit you when Jinx watch when you're alone? Huh? How about that?
Okay. All right. So I take it you guys didn't talk about movies either.
Well, just the one, Wheel of Time, the documentary by Werner Herzog.
Right. Well, and which one's that? Is that the volcano one?
No. It's the one about the Dalai Lama, I think, or there's like a magic stone. He goes into great detail. Yeah, his description is better than anything, because I haven't seen it. But it's one of the classic Herzog. He stays interested enough in this one versus the, as it turns out, I am uninterested in volcanoes. He remains interested and engaged in the actual subject matter, but there's apparently enough nonsense happening around him that you get that classic Herzog documentary where it just gets sidetracked on itself constantly.
I found myself climbing up to the highest peaks to talk to a wise man when I found a rock and was like, it must be magic. Except for I'm Werner Herzog, and I clearly wouldn't say, and I'm like. And I was like, whoa, dude, we should drop on in and get pitted.
No, it's usually where it's like, we were on the way to the summit when I discovered a small child attempting to plow grass with a cat pulling the plow. And then it stays there for 30 fucking minutes, and you're as mesmerized as he is because you're like, no shit.
There I found myself thinking, why does this always happen to me?
Because you're an asshole, Werner. But we love you. I'm still not sure why you got to be in Mandalorian.
Right?
Like, I guess Favreau was like, you know what this show needs? Somebody who's difficult to work with.
Right.
Everybody else seems fine, so I'm just gonna toss Werner in here and see how you fucks do with it.
He did a good job, I think.
He always does a fine job.
Okay,
it's just he's kind of an asshole.
Follow up also from last week. Sam, if you remember, I was complaining about the Best Picture award that went to Coda and how I will never, ever get to watch it because I refuse to give Apple money.
Sure.
It's currently streaming on Appa. It's on the Appa. The Apple, where you go to listen to Dancing Queen on a loop. The Apple app. It's funny. It's alliteration. People like that. They do. Stop making that face. People like alliteration. That one's gonna kill. In Sweden.
Well, if my daughter was old enough to listen to it, she would kill with her because she kept asking me last week. She was like, "Do you like alliterature?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, when you use a bunch of things that start with the same letter in a sentence, and I was like, that's alliteration. And she's like, yes, I love alliterature. And I was like, alliteration. And then my mom's like, what? And I'm like, alliteration. She's like, what is that? And I'm like,
God damn it.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Where am I and how did I get here?
Yeah.
What universe is this? This is not my beautiful wife.
And my daughter, which in her defense, she's 9.
Uh-huh.
She's like, well, we should use sentences with alliteration. And I'm like, God, I can't even swear. You're 9. It's alliteration.
Okay, so, Coda. Turns out, immediately after me and my big mouth said, "Oh, I'm never going to get to watch this poopy movie because I'm poopy and I'm poopy," I saw an advertisement that it was going to have a limited theater release the next day. I was like, "Shit, I got to walk that one back."
Yeah, you're still giving money to Apple.
No, because it was a Sundance film. It already had a limited theater release at Sundance, and then Apple bought the online distribution rights for it. So I don't.
And they were probably nearsighted enough to only buy the internet distribution rather than just buy the fucking distribution rights for 20 years, which is what everybody in common practice used to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I didn't get into the contracts, but I figure I'm close enough. I'm close enough, right? I want to see this movie real bad, and I'm not sitting on my couch and subscribing to a month of friggin' Apple TV, and children are literally putting the wires together with the little tiny hands because that's what Apple does. And then they're like, "Oh, your internet connection's too slow, forced obsolescence, blah 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 blah, liberal bullshit that I am. God damn it." No, I went and saw it yesterday. Went to the movie theater.
Theater. How are the theaters in Illinois?
Well, I got to tell you, we went to a theater called the Magnus. I don't know if it's they've got AMC over here. They don't have the Regal or the real theaters, which is what we had in Boise. They have AMC, which we didn't go to. We went to this Magnus, so I don't know if it's an independent, like a locally owned jobber, but it was really, really nice. Like, I'm not kidding. 2 points. Reclining chairs.
Sure.
They had about 15 individual screens. And in the one we went to, there was only about 40 seats. About 40 seats. All of them reclined. I couldn't believe it. It was the smallest, like when you go to a band and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see some weird guy, but it's an intimate thing, I'm gonna go see a guy with a guitar. I'm gonna go see Llewyn Davis, right?"
Sure.
He's not playing at the fucking Coliseum, but it's this little intimate thing. It was nice. It was nice. It was a small little seating area, and they all recline, electronic, and the whole thing, spaced out, really nice. And the best part about it was this movie theater is $5 every day. I kid you not. $5, brand new movie.
That doesn't make any fucking
doesn't make
sense.
Any goddamn sense. I don't know how they're making any movie. They're monies. The concessions must be like $62 for a thing of popcorn. Because we were too full because we just went to dinner and ate a bunch of chicken wings. So I didn't have any room for popcorn. So we just let's not get a snack. Let's go see the movie. So I don't know how they're making any money. $5 every day. Reclining seats.
How are the chicken wings in Illinois?
The ones I had yesterday were very good.
That sucks.
Yeah, but they do these little pasta things. I'll talk about it. Or they're raviolis. They're baked raviolis. Really good. Anyways, so Coda. I want to get to Coda. Here's what I have to say about Coda. It was really good.
Sam Adams, it's beer, I guess.
No, Coda was really good. But that's all I can say about it.
That's all you can say. Compare it in quality to Manchester by the Sea.
Not even in the same ballpark.
Not even in the is it still like 2016 and every other year since?
Right. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I really, really liked it. But that's all I've got. I mean, it makes its points very efficiently. It says things about people with disabilities that maybe, me with my perfect this body's getting pretty crappy, I'll be honest, but I guess I'm still not technically disabled. It makes its very concise points, and the acting was very good, but at the end of the day, I was just like, well, I'm not going to be talking about this movie. It happened, and I liked it, and it made me feel good, and that's it. Huh. And it was probably the best movie of the year.
Huh.
But there was just nothing to really... say. I mean, it's weird because I super liked it. Like, if you would ever experience that.
I've had that happen. I feel like, is it? No, I Heart Huckabees. I have Shining.
You have things to say.
I have things to say about it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one where I was like, yeah, I liked it, but I can't really. I mean, it's fine.
It's not even that it's fine, Sam. It's really good, but there's nothing to talk about with it. So it's not a churn and burn movie. It sticks with you, but you can't be like, so what did you think about that sequence where blah, 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 blah? And I'm not going to spoil anything because everything I would say would be a spoiler alert because every scene is very poignant. But, and it's not that I couldn't relate. I mean, I think I related pretty well. I came home and the old man was like, how come they don't just use their cell phones to talk? And I'm like, God damn it, Jesus. Step out of your box for a little bit. Yeah, you can't just always use your cell phone to talk. I mean, deaf people have challenges that we don't understand because we're not goddamn deaf. Jesus Christ. But after that, like, even something like Dune that I don't like, I think about. I'm like,
there's plenty of things to talk about with Dune.
Yeah, but it was almost like Little Miss Sunshine, where Little Miss Sunshine was a lot more fun for sure. It was cute. It was a cute movie. But you don't have a lot to say about it. Oh, it was cute. It was really cute.
You can always have the one thing like, man, Alan Arkin. Wow.
Yeah.
Even there, they got something better than I liked it.
Yeah. Everybody was really great. Yeah, it was defeating almost. Not because I didn't like it. It was just because I'm like, I critique film semi-professionally. I should have big things to say about the best picture of the year. And it's just like, it was good. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I was studying this shit in college, one of the professors was always like, ultimately, even if you hate a movie, if it inspires a long discussion, then it did more than a movie that didn't inspire a long discussion.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And I don't know. It definitely deserved to win Best Picture, but I just got nothing to say about it. I liked it. Go see it. It's good. That's all I got. It is a film for everybody. Everybody should like it. I don't know what else to say about it. I do have another movie that I do have a lot of things to say about, Sam. This is from 1987, and I'm going to have to, what's that called? Vamp. I'm going to have to vamp while I look up the IMDb page. It's 1988, sorry. And you might remember this. I had forgotten that it even existed, and I was shocked about it while watching it, and then a scene came up, and I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this. It's called The Bear. And it stars Bart the Bear.
Yeah, I've seen The Bear.
So it's directed by this guy named Jean-Jacques Annaud. I'm sure I fucked that up. Annaud. He was the guy that directed 7 Years in Tibet, Enemy at the Gates, The Name of the Rose, some big movies. And basically what The Bear is the opposite of any movie that's ever been on Stinker Madness ever.
Yes.
It's an trained animal movie that is stunning. I couldn't believe how good the actors were that were critters.
It's an achievement. That's what I remember, like, when it came out, it's like an achievement in filmmaking, and it is because there's just not people in this.
There's three people.
Couple people, but it's
a couple of hunters.
Actual bear drama.
It's bear drama. Yeah, absolutely. And it made me, like, the whole time I was watching it, my son, Isaiah, he picked it. He was like, oh, The Bear, I've seen this before. And I was like, okay, this is a movie I'm going to, like, go into a different room to do something else because I don't want to watch a kid's movie right now. And then within, like, 5 minutes of it, I was like, Jesus, when was this movie made? Because I was expecting it to be like a modern CGI, really, like budget thing that I hadn't heard of, some off Disney studio that doesn't do CGI very well. And I was like, wait a minute, that CGI looks really good. Wait a minute, that's a real bear.
This is really bears in a movie starring bears about bears.
Yeah.
And the drama of being a bear.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, going back to like our Roar episode and like the shenanigans with that, even like Buffalo Rider, like how bad, like I kept expecting the film to like base the story around, hey, these critters are going to do what they're going to do, and we're just going to film it. And then we're going to do some freelance overdubbing over the top to be like, hey, that critter just died. No, I like whoever the trainers were. Obviously, Bart the Bear was a big deal. Bart the Bear was in 21 movies. 21! Yeah. But good God. And the humans that were in it had to work with those animals. And there was a scene where it's like, dude, you're an actor, like, do the whole Marlon Brando Stella thing. You get in and, if you shit yourself on screen, it's okay, bud. You can say, hey, look, I'm method acting, but really if you're not actually method acting and you just shit your pants because this bear's screaming in your face, I get it, dude. I totally get it. You almost died, except for Bart the Bear was a preeminent professional and wouldn't actually eat you.
Yeah.
Today.
I can say that I saw that when I was like 8.
Right, me too.
And it stuck with me to this day as like, I think to harken back to when Tree of Life won Cannes, and they talked to De Niro, who was on the panel, and he's like, apparently he didn't go for Tree of Life. He's just like, it's supposed to be the one that has the most art, and this was art, I guess.
I mean,
what he wanted to say is he wanted to be like, this isn't art. The bear. Now that's art. Or like, when Dan Marino was talking about the Black Eyed Peas halftime performance, and he goes, I don't know, they don't sing good. Prince, that guy's a performer.
That is a direction I did not see that conversation going to. Dan Marino. Okay. I get hit in the head a lot. Yeah, no, I highly recommend The Bear if you've never seen it. It's not a kids movie. It is safe for kids. It's stunning. Like, I don't know how it wasn't nominated for everything in 19. What was it would have been up against in 1988? Is that Empire of the Sun year? 88?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. Yeah, but really, like, I was shocked. I was totally shocked. I gave it 8 stars. So good. So good. Really sad. Really sad. And like the whole time, you're like, Jesus Christ, stop it. Let this little tiny guy have just a moment of happiness. Let him go play with some bugs or something.
Yeah.
This little cub is just tortured for the entire length of the film until Bart the Bear is like, I've had enough of this cub getting messed with. I'm gonna whack some dudes.
Yeah.
So
I know about, like, it's probably not the same year, but I know that right around then, because one of the other movies my grandmother was like, I watched this. It's probably above your head, but you have to watch it anyway to understand life, even though you're 8.
Mm-hmm.
It was My Left Foot.
Yeah.
With Daniel Day-Lewis. Sure. And so that was right around that same time. And if it lost to that, I mean, that's fine.
Wasn't 1492 in 88 as well?
1492 stinks.
It stinks, but it was nominated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
That's the one with Gerard Depardieu, right?
Gerard Depardieu.
That thing is bad.
All right, why don't you vamp for a little while and I'll look up 1988's Best Picture.
I was actually thinking about 1492 as an episode because I tried to watch it and it was bad. And the other one, Columbus, was probably worse. These Columbus movies that came out in a slew in the 80s were just shit. I'd be like, watch them, see how bad they are. But it's like, No, I gotta get my eyes back on these things because they were so goddamn bad. They might not be worth it just because of sheer length. I can't remember what else would come out around that same time besides My Left Foot, because that's the one I always attach it to meaningfully for me, was that I saw My Left Foot around the same time that I saw The Bear, and they sort of like, that's sort of how I'm like, art and film, draw back to my earliest days in watching art and film, and then I'll be like, is this as good as My Left Foot or The Bear? Nope, it's not.
The winner of that year was The Last Emperor, which I always mix up with Empire of the Sun. Because
I liked that movie too.
Yeah, Last Emperor was really good. The other noms were Broadcast News, of course, Fatal Attraction, Hope and Glory, and Moonstruck.
Didn't Moonstruck win?
No, Last Emperor won.
Last Emperor won, but Cher and Nick Cage won for Moonstruck.
Cher and no.
Didn't Nick Cage win Best Supporting?
Cage did not. Sean Connery and The Untouchables won.
That movie sucks.
Yeah, it's not very good. I'm really surprised about that. Like,
Billy Drago's in The Untouchables.
That's not a diss. Sean Connery's in The Untouchables. That's a diss.
Kevin Costner is also in that?
You're gonna.
Isn't he?
Yeah. He's what's his name?
Is Kevin Costner's ass in it?
I don't think so. Because I
It's
saw
not
it when
at
I was
that
a
point
kid.
where like he had the pre Van Damme, my butt has a separate contract with this picture.
What's that guy's goddamn name?
Which guy?
It's on the internet, our fans are yelling, "Are you kidding me?" The guy, Kevin Costner's character, very famous
Elliot
detective.
Ness?
Elliot Ness, thank you. Yeah. Sean Connery's like, the only way I'll get in this movie is if I can slap some titties around.
Yeah.
Because that's...
And then Billy Drago's like, hey, in the future, you'll remember me as the bad guy from Briscoe County Jr., the greatest show ever made. Till they fucking canceled it like dickheads.
The worst Billy Drago impression I've ever heard.
I don't know how to do Billy Drago. He just stands there and smiles creepy.
Nobody does
You
Billy
can't
Drago.
do that on the radio.
Nobody knows who Billy Drago is, so...
He's the bad guy in Briscoe County Jr. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I've got this week, Sam. Why don't you...
Well, I think you've seen this because we're supposed to be focusing somewhat on series during our time of not talking about movies so much, even though we just spent a bunch of time talking about movies. Yeah. Finally pulled the trigger. We watched Hawkeye this Sunday. Watched it all the way through. What did you think of Hawkeye?
Probably the weakest of the bunch, but I thought that it had done a very good job of adapting the limited run by kill me. I want to say Clapton, and that sucks pretty bad.
Are you talking about the Kate Bishop comic, which I would say is the best?
Hawkeye one. The Hawkeye. Oh God. Not Brian K. Vaughan. Oh my God. Why am I? Oh, I suck so bad. I shouldn't have drank so many beers before this episode. The guy that wrote Hawkeye that it's based off of, with the tracksuit jumpsuit gang and the I really liked its visual callbacks to that series, but as far as the writing and the story, I didn't love it per se, but I liked it.
Liked it too. I thought that it actually suffered a little bit from series fatigue of the producers going, yeah, we are going to be able to get back into movies, and they're sort of pulling some of the dollars away. But I thought they did a really good job capturing Kate Bishop, because I just read the series the 2 years after what you're talking about, and I think that's the best shit that's come out of Marvel in 10 years. It was just couldn't stop turning those pages. I think I read all 24 that were out to that point in like 3 nights or something like that. Yeah. Like I just tore through it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, Kate Bishop's a lot of fun.
Kate Bishop is a lot of fun. And I also thought that it was a really on-screen MCU way of actually retiring a character.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
even if he's not, he can't be Hawkeye anymore. He's got a hearing aid. He can't do jumps without strapping frozen wine slushies to himself. His kids are now on college age. I'm curious about one thing. Who the fuck is his wife now, all of a sudden?
She's Agent 13.
Oh. Really?
Not Agent 13, because that's Sharon Carter. No, she is Agent 13, because what's her face? June Carter, Johnny Cash's wife. She was Chris Evans' girlfriend, and she turned out to be a Nazi or something. But she was not Sharon Carter. She was Sharon Carter, but she wasn't Agent 13. I'm pretty sure Hawkeye's wife is Agent 13. Or Agent 88. Or Agent Orange. Or...
They haven't done Mockingbird yet.
They did. Remember in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Okay.
She was really good looking.
They did. So they
whatever
couldn't,
that
I was like,
name was like.
I was like, Hawkeye Girlfriends, Mockingbird.
Yeah.
And they already did her, though.
Right, they already did her. So whatever Mockingbird's call sign, she was Agent 007, whatever her number was, that's Mockingbird's number, because they never used Mockingbird's number in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they just called her Mockingbird.
Really dumb, not for the purposes of Hawkeye's wife being Mockingbird, but I think it's dumb to burn Mockingbird on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because then you really fuck up Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Because she's like one of the only constant members of Thunderbolt. And Thunderbolts
actually, she was never in Thunderbolts at all.
Okay, wait. Which one is
That's
she
Songbird.
In? Okay, Songbird's in Thunderbolts.
Yeah, you ignorant bastard.
So they didn't fuck up Thunderbolts. That's good, because I really like Thunderbolts a lot.
Yeah, Thunderbolts are coming. That's going to happen. I guarantee it. Either that or the Dark Avengers, but it's the same concept. How long do we want to nerd out on Marvel stuff for?
Well, so then they can't quite retire Hawkeye all the way, or at least Clint Barton yet all the way, because now his wife has some fucking reveal that's going to happen.
Nah. Living Cardellini's too
hot.
Yeah.
You're too hot to be in movies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She's they're good. They're happy. We've explored that character arc. I'm good.
There's like a whole section of porn sites pretending to be her Velma.
Yes, absolutely.
Like 10% of every internet porn site is just girls dressing up like her, not being as hot.
True. I've seen that website.
It's disappointing because it's not her.
And
at the same time, you're like, well, no, she's too good for that.
Your childhood isn't as sexy as you thought.com. I've been there. I go there for constant disappointment.
You like do the vintage porn thing when like you see like, yep, it's still gross.
Yeah, wow. I always thought I'd like to see Tron screw somebody, or Voltron screw somebody, but it turns out I didn't.
Yeah. The day that you satisfy your furry curiosity and you're like, ooh, yeah, no.
Huh. Thought I'd like it more.
I still don't get it.
Not even sure what I like anymore. Do I like Chips? I thought I liked Chips for a long time. Not Chips the TV show, but Chips the snack. And now I was convinced that I like Voltron screwing somebody, but it turns out I don't. Do I even like anything? Like anything? Cars? The Lamborghini Countach. Is that really something that I like? I don't think I do.
If you drive one, apparently you might die of inhalation.
Farrah Fawcett's hair and that swimsuit. Do I like that? I don't know.
Yeah, you like that.
I'm confused about everything.
Let's stay on Marvel for a minute.
Yeah.
The whole internet is ablaze with this Moon Knight love. What did you think of episode 1?
I didn't watch it because there's a strict policy in the Throngard house is that we have to actually watch, and we are currently unable to watch because we're on a tiny TV. I'm talking like 26 inches. Like, that's not going to work. So we're going to save it. I got 2 months before I can watch Moon Knight, so I can't even tell you anything about it.
I think that I'm going to wait for the rest of them to come out before I try it again because they were fucking milking it.
Okay.
They were fucking milking it.
Like teats or
nothing happens until the last 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's like it was a 30-minute teaser for Moon Knight, and I'm like, why are you teasing Moon Knight? Nobody actually likes this guy.
Yeah.
People like Oscar Isaac. You're now milking the franchise for what it's worth because you're like, okay, we're going to put this fucking character on screen. And then you milk it harder by like making a 30-minute teaser to a show that might happen.
Yeah. I mean, so what they're facing in that is it's the first time they've done an origin story TV show. Everything else on Disney Plus was established franchises or established characters. The closest you could get is Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, but you are getting your hand held by actual Hawkeye.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but it's not much of an origin. He's already into being him pretty good by the time it starts.
Okay.
So
all right. So it's different. There's no existing backstory, I guess. You know?
Sure. It's almost like Iron Man 1, the movie.
Yeah. So I can see them struggling with that, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't have a lot to weigh in on it because I haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen it, that's fine.
For months.
My review is I'm waiting for the rest of them to come out so that I can give 2 in a row a shot and see if I actually want to watch it. Leading me to my next series that I haven't quite finished yet. Things finally start happening in Witcher Season 2, Episode 6, finally. Is it like we have to take everything about Game of Thrones and put it in the series? Like when Game of Thrones treads water for 3 seasons? Like, oh, we need to tread water for... No! Don't tread water for 3 seasons, and they fucking treaded water for 4 episodes in fucking Witcher Season 2, and it's like, you got a lot to get to here. Come on now.
I mean, even if you have to do a filler episode once in a while, that's fine. Have him go fight a bog witch or something. Like, have him go do something. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, is Yennefer gonna like me or not? Or what's going on with Skelligard, the political scenario. Just have him go fight a bog witch. Like, where's she at? I'm doing Witcher stuff. Oh no, there's bandits nearby. Which sword do I choose? Do the Witcher stuff. I like the Witcher stuff.
Yeah, and it goes back to my whole like table setting and all that bullshit that I hate so much, where it's like world building and establishing of characters can happen in entertaining situations. It can.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, absolutely. Like he finds like the toss a coin to your Witcher, the bard guy. I mean, like
he shows up
adventures
in 4 or 5 maybe, and I think that's where it's like, oh, okay, finally things fucking start happening. But I was like, man, you burned half a season here.
Right, but it's not
Witcher bro downs. Because there's like 2 episodes of Witcher's just like, we'll have like a fraternity of douches. Like, okay, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that
even
sucks.
if it's like that in the video game and the novel series, like spend less time on it.
You spend less time on it. Have him go do Witcher stuff. Have him do some Witchering. Like, that's what I want to see is Witchering. Just general Witchering. Like, Star Trek didn't have to have, like, as soon as Star Trek went to like this big freaking oh god, we got to get in this big geopolitical thing. No, I just want to see him fly through space and find weird shit. That's all I want to see him do is fly through space and find weird shit. Have the Witcher do the same. Walk through a bog until you find a bog witch, and she's like, "I'll swallow your soul," and he's like, "I don't think so, not today." And then they fight.
Which finally happens after season or episode 5 or something like that.
Even in episode
6. Yeah, in episode 6, they're like, oh yeah, fuck, we forgot what we were doing. Like at the beginning, a monster just fucking shows up. And even after he kills it, like he does Witcher shit. He kills the monster, doing something awesome, and then goes, fuck, where the fuck are my swords? And it's like, oh, that's cool. He's back to being the Witcher. But I just spent half the week getting to this point that I thought I was going to be at when I started watching this shit.
I'll be honest. I'm probably the least biggest fan of The Witcher Season 1. It had its moments, but I didn't think it was great. I mean, I was like, I kind of was 50. I was lukewarm on it, to tell you the truth.
I thought it was fine. I didn't, like, love it, but it was like, it pushed a couple buttons for me. I was like, thank God. Because I thought Henry Cavill was going to start just doing the worst DTV action movies because he got into a couple of them. And I'm like, no, he's too young. He's too young for Antonio Banderas' 3 a year or Mel Gibson's 2 a year or whatever, right?
Right.
Like, you got to do something with this guy. I know that the one Justice League movie went south probably because it was a total shit pile that the studio maybe sabotaged. We'll see. I don't know. The extended my copy of the what is his name? The guy that I mostly don't like, but sort of like.
Where do I start? You want me to start?
The director that did the Justice League. What's his name?
I'll start from A. Adam Scott. Aaron Sorkin.
Stop it.
You don't like a lot of people.
So I like Zack Snyder. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I struggle with him because Sucker Punch really blows.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Sucker Punch is a unorganized mess of cool ideas that never works out. And then by the end of it, it's like, this is a dumb idea because these are unorganized ideas that you thought were cool.
Which is like the most complimentary thing anybody's ever said about Zack Snyder other than you. You're the only person that, I don't hate him. That's like a really nice thing to say about Zack Snyder. Everybody
Watchmen
else hates him, Sam.
was really good.
Everybody else hates him, Sam. Watchmen wasn't really good. It was mediocre.
Fuck off. It was good.
Fuck off. Go watch the HBO series and then fuck off.
Okay, fine. I will watch the We're not to HBO yet. We got to get through a couple other things. Because I got to switch one of them, right? I don't want to just get all these services and then forget about it and then look at my fucking credit card statement and go, why do I have all this shit?
Oh, I've been paying for Discovery Plus for like a year and a half and I just realized it.
Yeah, you're like, wait a second. I can't make fun of my parents for having DirecTV because
Right?
I've got 30 fucking things that are more expensive than that and probably just as stupid.
And I don't get to watch any of the sports.
Don't get to watch. TBS can go fuck itself. How you exist, how you get sports in general, and then exist on an island that makes it impossible for every human in the United States of America to not be able to have all the sports. Thank you.
Hey, honey, what's
Turner
on
network of televisions channels.
Honey, what's on TBS tonight? Well, it's clearly going to be Die Hard 2 again.
Die Hard 2, followed by reruns of whichever Reba McEntire series.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Because they've had like 5 Reba McEntire series. 2 of them are called Reba, and you're like, oh, I was getting into Reba, and you see Reba's on, and you're like, I'm watching, and you don't know who anybody is, and so you get on Wikipedia, like, wait, there was 2 that were just called Reba? What the fuck?
We're unrelated.
That are unrelated.
The continuity on Reba McEntire is all over the place.
I think she's cheating on her husband. It's a different guy. Did they replace him? No, it's a different show. What the fuck? She should go back to country music.
She just was nominated for Best Song of the Year for
good.
an Oscar. Yeah,
Good. She should stay the fuck off TNN and let it fucking die. She carried the sitcom for them for however long. But that's the fucking thing. Like, you got NBA, and now the fuckers have Major League Baseball like last year because we get the Dodgers package, and which I will say that MLB brought the whole package down to a point and brought the single team package, and was like, fuck you guys. I know you're going to fucking screw me. You're going to get them $20 apart, and I'm going to sign up to the big one, and you're going to fucking gank me. But either way, it's probably going to happen. So I was fine, but then TBS got into the fucking act, and so I had to get like Sling for a month just because they had TBS, and I couldn't get TBS with what I had, and it fucking sucks. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about before that?
Reba McEntire.
No, before that.
The Witcher.
Streaming, you got me the whole thing with the HBO and the... yeah, I won't know until my copy of Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League shows up tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus.
Would you venture to guess how much the Blu-ray of...
Paid for it.
The Blu-ray of Zack Snyder's cut with all of the extras. Do you venture to guess?
$37.
$8.07.
Wow.
I was just waiting for him to have an overstock. And I was like, because Sandra was like, hey, we should see if it's, because I kept looking at it. She's like, are you going to buy that? You said you wanted to buy it. I'm like, fine, I'll look at it. And I was like, 807, done. And then I got Being There, Criterion as well, finally came down to earth. It was only like $18, which for a Criterion is pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. And then something else, and I think it was under $50 for all three of them. I was pretty happy.
Okay. I don't have anything to retort with that because I would never pay $8 for anything that was made by Zack Snyder.
I paid $3 for Sucker Punch and I only watched it the one time.
Jesus Christ. That's insane.
I had to see it. I had to see how bad it was. It was bad.
Price of a mediocre. That's the price of a mediocre taco. I would rather have a mediocre taco.
In hindsight, yes. But I will say that I've watched Watchmen probably 10 times, and I've actually warmed up on the 300 pretty good. I've actually seen the 300 like 4 or 5 times now. I actually watched it a second time to go, do I really hate this as much as I hate Sin City? And I didn't. And I ended up watching it again. Like the third time around, I was like, this isn't great, but it's not bad.
All right. Well, Sam, we are going to close on me regaling you a tale, a sad story, but also one of levity and levitation. Fight Club is now gone forever from my life.
What?
And it might have killed some people.
What?
Okay, so for the longest time, I had a first generation Fight Club poster hanging in my house in a very cheap frame. It fell off the wall many times, and the paper from the Fight Club movie theater poster got damaged over many years. And so I stopped caring about the Fight Club poster and the frame that it was held within. And I bought one of those cheap, like plastic edged frames that aren't secured. You have the cork board behind the picture, then you put the picture down, and then a piece of plastic, like a plexiglass type material over the top of it. And then you wedge some frames in on the sides and they're not held in. Just the tension of everything stuck together holds it together. You slap it on the wall and you go, hey, you know what? That's a good place for that Fight Club poster. It sits on your garage wall for 10 years, right? So the Fight Club poster made it all the way to Illinois. And, but you know, those posters, when you take them off the wall, with those frames, you put them next to your couch for a minute and then you put it back and the whole thing's falling apart. You're like, God damn it, I got to rebuild this thing. Well, of course, that didn't stay together in the trailer. So I was like, I had like 4 of them. I had a Great Escape poster. I had a Keep Calm and Carry On poster. I had this Fight Club poster. And so they all got disintegrated, the little frame edges. So we just made a pile of frame edges with the poster sitting next to them and leaned them against the truck. Go on about our business. We'll get to those when we get to the bottom of the ground underneath all these boxes and we can get all those frame edges and I'll put them together and then stack them against the wall in the storage unit. So time goes on and lunch comes. My mother-in-law brings us a McDonald's. And I'm like, man, I'm so hungry right now after working all this day. I'm going to eat these French fries. So I eat these French fries and start working on my burger. Well, a wind gust comes in and it knocks my French fries container that's empty out of the trailer. And I'm chasing it on the ground, comedy style, like it's freaking Benny Hill. I'm kicking it with my feet and trying to pick it up with my hands and the wind's taking it. And I'm like, God damn it, come back here. Oh, I almost got you. You rascally rapscally. And I'm chasing it around the trailer. And then I hear this wha-bam! And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? My entire everything I've owned just fell over in the trailer because of this wind gust. I'm getting blown around. Well, it turns out it was the doors at the end of the trailer fell on the ground and made this huge clamor. And I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't care about that. Meanwhile, I see
Those
my
aren't
father.
mine.
What's that?
Those aren't mine.
Those aren't mine. Meanwhile, I see my father-in-law sprinting as fast as he can across the storage unit yard. And I'm like, where's he going? And then I look up, and his hands are in the air like he's trying to catch a kite or something, but really he is trying to catch a kite. It's the Fight Club poster. It is launched into the air. It's now 30 feet above him, and he's like, come back.
Oh, that sucks.
And then the thing just took off. I kid you not. We were shocked. It folded over on top of itself, which means that the weight of itself was more dense. There was less surface area for it and more dense. It should have came down. Instead, it kept going up and up, and it was like the goddamn house in Up. It just kept going and going and going and going. And I kid you not, when we lost sight of that goddamn thing, it was 300 feet up in the air.
Jesus.
I never saw it again. I turned my back for a second. I'm pretty sure it ended up in Maryland. Right now, my Fight Club poster is plastered against the front of a semi-truck, and it's like, shit!
That sucks.
Pile up on the freeway because of my poster.
That was the first edition. I still have the first edition cardboard box DVD special edition of Fight Club.
Did it ever kill anybody?
No, it's still safely in my movie collection. Okay, well, you have that same one, though, right?
Yeah.
The cardboard box.
I'm pretty sure my poster killed somebody.
Probably.
Plastered in front of it covered the windshield of a 747, and that thing just went right into the ground.
Like, Houston, this is Air Force One. Tyler Durden has finally got us. It's on the windshield, and he's like, well, just keep flying straight, Bill. Nope. Tyler Durden's here. I'm taking this down. We're going to have to turn this upside down.
It was nuts. It was absolutely insane. And probably the funniest thing I've seen in the last 6 months of my life. I was laughing so hard at how high that thing was. And birds were confused. It didn't make sense.
Birds were like, shut up, Tyler Durden, run. We can't run, we're flying. Fuck off, run.
I want you to peck me in the face as hard as you can. Said the bird to the other bird. Okay, that's where we're going to wrap it up this week, guys. We will catch you next week, and hope everything's going well in your world. And in the meantime, get to the chopper.